Rome was founded in the 8th century before Christ, according to tradition, in 753 BC. What began as a small settlement along the banks of the Tiber River slowly grew into one of the most powerful cities the ancient world had ever known. The location of Rome was not chosen by chance. The river provided water, trade routes, and natural protection, while the surrounding hills offered defense against enemies. In its earliest days, Rome was a city of simple wooden houses and dirt paths. Over time, as the population increased and Roman power expanded, these humble beginnings were replaced with stone buildings, paved roads, and organized public spaces. By the 1st century AD, Rome had transformed into a vast imperial capital, home to more than 1 million people. Rome's architecture reflected its ambition. The city was carefully planned, with wide stone roads, public squares, and monumental buildings constructed from stone, brick, and marble. At the heart of the city stood the Roman Forum, a large open space surrounded by temples, government buildings, and markets. This was the center of political, religious, and social life. One of the most iconic structures of the 1st century AD was the Colosseum. Built using concrete, stone, and advanced engineering techniques, it symbolized Rome's wealth and technical skill. Its massive arches and tiered seating demonstrated the empire's ability to organize labor and resources on an enormous scale. By the 1st century AD, Rome was no longer a republic. It was an empire, ruled by an emperor who held supreme authority. The emperor controlled the military, oversaw the laws, and represented the unity of the empire. Although the Senate still existed, its power was limited. Senators advised the emperor and managed certain administrative tasks, but real authority rested with the ruler. Roman government was built on law and order. Magistrates enforced laws in public spaces, and Roman legal principles shaped governance across the empire. This system allowed Rome to control vast territories stretching across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Rome was a city of contrasts. Wealthy elites lived in grand houses decorated with frescoes and marble, while ordinary citizens often resided in crowded apartment buildings called insulae. Social classes were clearly defined, from senators and nobles to merchants, laborers, and enslaved people. Despite these differences, daily life followed a shared rhythm. Citizens gathered in forums, bathhouses, and markets. Public spaces played a vital role in Roman society, encouraging interaction, trade, and civic identity. The Roman Empire was built and maintained by its army. In the 1st century AD, Rome commanded hundreds of thousands of soldiers across its territories. The core of this force was the legion, a highly organized unit of around 5,000 men. Each legion was divided into smaller units, allowing precise control and coordination. Roman military camps were carefully organized. Tents were arranged in rows, guarded by sentries, and supplied with food and equipment. Discipline was strict, and obedience was absolute. Soldiers trained constantly, preparing for both battle and long marches. Roman soldiers were equipped with standardized weapons. The gladius, a short sword, was designed for close combat. The pilum, a heavy throwing spear, could disable enemy shields. Large rectangular shields provided protection and allowed soldiers to fight as a unified force. Roman warfare relied on discipline rather than chaos. Formations such as the testudo, or shield wall, allowed soldiers to advance under enemy fire. During sieges, Roman engineers built catapults and ballistae to break through fortified cities. Every battle followed careful planning and command. Through conquest and diplomacy, Rome expanded its borders across continents. Frontier forts protected the edges of the empire, while roads allowed rapid movement of troops. Conquered regions were governed by Roman officials and connected to the empire through law, trade, and infrastructure. Inside the city, daily life continued regardless of war. Roman homes varied by class. Wealthy families lived in domus houses with courtyards and gardens, while common citizens occupied multi-story apartments. Streets were busy with pedestrians, animals, and carts. Family life was central to Roman society. Meals were shared, traditions were followed, and children were raised to respect authority and discipline. Markets were the lifeblood of Rome. Vendors sold bread, fruits, vegetables, meat, and wine. Food was simple for most citizens, consisting mainly of grains, olives, and vegetables. Trade brought goods from across the empire, filling Rome with products from distant lands. Entertainment was equally important. Gladiatorial games drew massive crowds to the Colosseum. These events reinforced Roman values of strength, order, and dominance. Roman engineering was unmatched in the ancient world. Aqueducts carried fresh water across long distances into the city, supplying fountains, baths, and homes. Stone bridges connected regions, while paved roads stretched across the empire, linking cities and military bases. Roman ships controlled the Mediterranean Sea, protecting trade routes and transporting soldiers and goods. This network of roads, bridges, and waterways held the empire together. Roman culture was expressed through statues, temples, and public art. These works celebrated gods, emperors, and military victories. Art and architecture reinforced Roman identity and authority. Even after its fall, Rome's influence endured. Roman law shaped modern legal systems. Roman engineering inspired future builders. The legacy of Rome remains visible in cities, governments, and cultures around the world.